Today, I'm bringing you to Austin, Texas, and I'm not gonna lie, Austin and Texas in general is growing on me big time. We're visiting Cupcake Home Improvements.
And so we wanted something that was friendly.
Traditional company name, and that's what I love about them.
The decision she's about to make. I find it to be predatory to do anything opposite of that.
In construction business, one of the coolest offices. I love covering startups. You have a lot of companies here. They started about a year ago and have early success.
Because our name is so memorable, people know when they haven't heard it.
Let's see what this company accomplished in just 1 year. First question, guys. Let's talk about your company name. I want to start there because it's unique. Like, who in the world would name their company Cupcake? I would not be able to convince any roofer in the country or any contractor to go with that name, but I absolutely love it. What's the story? Give me a background.
I mean, I'm so glad you asked. You were smiling when you asked us our company name. And that's how we want people to feel when we talk about Cupcake. It makes everybody smile. And so we wanted something that was friendly, and that was the antithesis of what your typical roofing company was, right? That was muscles and testosterone. That's great, but it's a differentiator for us, and we wanted something that would appeal to women and be very friendly. You know, we believe that women are really responsible for most of the decisions in the home, and it makes people smile, and people don't forget it.
What about men? Do men push back, or do they like it too?
I mean, they laugh and smile just the same way that you did.
But it's kind of, it opens you up. It lowers your guard, you know, because you're opposite of arrogant and pushy. You're like smiley. And so what kind of feedback you're getting from your homeowners? Like when you introduce yourself, is there a confusion? Is there like, do you have to explain what you do? Do you talk about your name first and then?
So from customers to vendors, when we go in and, you know, I'll go into a final walkthrough, I like to ask, why did you choose Cupcake? And I'll hear things from, I never opened the door for anyone, but I saw this guy standing out there, I saw this girl standing out there with a cupcake on their shirt, and I wondered what it is. So it actually piqued their curiosity. And then all the way through the process, we talk about the cherry on top, the 5-star experience, this whole thing actually means something. And we've ingrained that in the culture of the business, and the customers just seem to absolutely love it, and they sort of giggle when they're talking about it, but they remember it.
I agree 100%. There's 3 pillars here to the name. What I tell everyone, number 1 is you have to stand out from the competition. Number 2, you want to be on top of mind. And 3, you have to be memorable after the fact. Yeah. So like, I don't think I could not forget you, because once you heard it, you will always, it's easy to not only to remember, but think about it. If I'm scrolling on Facebook and I see someone asking, hey, can anyone recommend, you know, window company in Austin, Texas? Mm-hmm. Exactly what you said. If I don't remember the company who did mine, but if I remember you, yeah, Cupcake guys, call them, right? But it also, once you made the recommendation, immediately you have the reaction, Cupcake what? Because it's not your company. I feel like you're competing with their Girl Scout cookies. So how did you come up with it? Like, what was the brainstorm process?
It was, frankly, a brand that I had invented a while back that was on the shelf. I hadn't been using it. I had some rental properties, and it was called Cupcake Properties. And I always thought the logo was kind of cute. And I thought, gosh, we aren't really using this, and I want something memorable, and it feels like it's in alignment with what we want to do. We wanted to go build something different, be a different kind of home improvement company, and we felt that, God, that's so different that it just seemed to work.
We'll look back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and I remember the moment we're all sitting around it, or me and you are sitting around the table. We've got all the sticky notes on the glass of the culture and what we wanted to do and our vision, and we hadn't decided on a name, and we needed to file the documents. And he looked at me and goes, what do you think about Cupcake? And I went, I love it. Like, you know, we were banging around all these other ideas and who's the competition, and it just, one of those lightning strikes.
I think we're in a really saturated market here in Austin. We're in a competitive storm market. We've guessed there might be 300 to 400 different roofing companies here, probably 75 to 100 different window companies, and maybe don't know, 25 to 50 siding companies. They all feel very similar, right? They might have a high pressure sales approach. And so embracing that Cupcake brand and idea, being a different kind of name for a different kind of contractor, we wanted to go make a no pressure, a low pressure approach in home improvement. A lot of companies come in with I've got a 1-day price, right, to go try and build urgency. And they'll come in and they'll be in the home for 5 hours and they'll start at $50,000, right, for a project, and then they'll beat the customer up, and then 30 minutes later, let me go call my manager and see what I can do for you, and they'll lower the price. And another 30 minutes later, what if I could put a sign in your yard and do a marketing program there? And after about an hour of this arm wrestling, you go from a $50,000 price down to a $25,000 price, and it just kind of left us going, because we had experienced that. Man, that wouldn't feel very good. What if I had said yes? I would have been taken advantage of. So we have a low pressure, no pressure model. We have a 30-day price. We want to reward homeowners that can work with us in 30 days. We actively tell people, we encourage you to go get additional quotes. You should be informed. We're here to go educate you. And our process is we're going to come in and we're going to say, hey, look, here's our game plan for today, right? We deliver what we call an upfront contract. We let the homeowner know we're not a high pressure company. This is exactly what's going to happen to you today. What do you think about this plan? They can say yes or no. They have the freedom to modify the agenda. We're going to tell them about how long we're going to be here. And at the end, we say, we're going to let you decide what happens next.
Why do you think so many companies use pressure, big companies? Because in the business world, it's acceptable. And if I would do a review, if I would make a video today, the best business model, I actually published kind of that video of business sizes, arguing that smaller a lot of times better. But on a business discussion, we have a lot of private equities coming to this space right now, and they implement sales strategies, and they look at the giant companies, Power Home Remodeling, a lot of window companies, Leaf Filter, what's not, and they're like, well, it works for them. We want to build something similar. And I guess the argument is, if product is good, if quality is good, if the warranty is good, why not pressure sell them?
Right. Homeowners hate it.
Yeah, I've been in the industry long enough. I've run the companies from the 12 million to the 100 million in this space. I think that there might be a sort of a sad inflection point where if you want to get really, really large and you want to over standardize and not have that bespoke feel, it may even be, unfortunately, like a natural progression. That is where you have to go. You've got a team of hundreds of salespeople. They've got to do it one way to get the most out of it. And it just may be that natural progression, whereas if you can stay sort of more bespoke and education-based and a better experience, I think you can back away and let people in that 180-day R&D period. You're going to catch people at day 0. You're going to catch people at day 179. If you're following up with them and doing it the right way, they're going to buy. Nobody goes to a car dealership that doesn't want to buy a car. They might leave because somebody didn't help them along the way, but if somebody follows up with them constantly, they're going to buy that car at some point. And that's.
I feel like it's so annoying. Like every time I go to a car dealer, I know what I'm looking for. And if I feel the person is scripted and just after me, that just makes you not want to buy. I want to be sold, but I want to be sold, in a conversation. I remember I was buying 3 or 4 years ago a Toyota Sienna. I knew exactly what I want. I found 2 of them online, and one called and they said, it's on the lot. I'm gonna go test drive it. So I walk in, and the guy comes out, sales rep, and said, I'm looking for this car, do you have it? And he's not answering the question, he's keep giving me a scripted answer, if something like, can we have a deal if I have it? I'm like, do you have it or not? I want to see it, I want to drive it, I want to drive it home. And he would not answer the question. He keep asking me 500 sales questions, keep qualifying me. I'm like, you don't need to qualify me. I'm already here, just not listening. And I feel like a lot of sales reps are like that.
They have commission breath.
Yeah.
Right? They're there. The business model is incentivized. It demands that rep make that sale on that spot that day. And if they don't, then it's going to go back to a rehash team that's going to go work it. Manager will come back, call whoever it is, try and drop the price. So if they don't get the sale that night, right, it goes away from the salesperson. And so the Cupcake model is, you know, we've been in sales a long time. We work off sales pipeline. And like Robert said, they might be ready today. They might be at the beginning of their journey. And we're just going to nurture them along the way and let them decide on their own time. But we think that's a more sustainable model. That's what today's consumer wants. You know, the Amazon experience has molded people into, this is the way I expect to buy. So we talked about, you know, our customer journey and how we've automated it with the pizza tracker and the transparency and the communication. That's what today's homeowner wants. And they don't want the pushy sales experience. It's challenging from a startup perspective, right? Has it been hard? Yes, it's hard in the early days when you don't have a lot of stars and you get in there and you're not using the pushy sales process. But we're building a flywheel, and we're building that momentum to get the flywheel running. And so, you know, today one of the challenging things is because our name is so memorable, people know when they haven't heard it, right? So we're in the early days. But when we become a household name, because we're doing great work and we get great reviews and we have our non-pushy sales process, when that flywheel gets moving and people hear it, well, then it's game on, right? And so we're just taking the longer, we think, more strategic path that how homeowners want to be treated.
Would you agree that communication is the most important part of being a contractor?
I think it's a differentiator.
Yeah.
I think that what most people are used to when I'm in the home, when we're from I've done the sales aspect, I've done the measure, the final walkthrough, the collecting the checks, and what I love to ask questions. I love to be curious, and no questions off limits for me. Why'd you choose us? Why? You know, we were a company that had 9 reviews. Why us? And it was their experience. It was their, you know, they'll say, I've had contractors before that I paid and they didn't show up for 3 days. Or every day they were showing up at a different time and I never knew when they were showing up and the project took a really long time. And so that is one thing that we've jumped in the deep end on, of like, we're going to over communicate with the homeowners. And they absolutely love it. There are companies in Austin that sell the same windows, the same doors, the same roof, the same, you know, we do some things differently. Like we know ventilation, I think, more than most on a roof, but the communication is, and just how we present ourselves. You know, we have sort of the golfer look, the Lulus and the collared shirts. All of our staff does that, versus, you know, the guy who's been doing roofs for 20 years that gets out of his truck in jeans and
a big beard and
yeah,
the whole kind of gruff
clipboard,
sort of appearance.
you know, he's got a clipboard instead of a digital. That communication, that presentation,
Yeah.
is really what is driving us forward.
One of the things that you probably heard of, maybe Brian Gottlieb. He's a titan in the industry. We've seen him speak at several conferences. He built a really successful Windows business. And one of the things that he said that really resonated with us was, in today's world, operational excellence is really your strategic advantage. And so that's what we're trying to think about is, you know, what is how can we be operationally excellent? How can we wow that customer? That's what the cherry is on top of the cupcake. That's what it reminds us of. And so it's little things. It's if you've got the old lady, the 70-year-old lady with the garbage cans out front, go wheel her garbage can, you know, back in. Take care of those little things. Put on the booties. Have respect for the people's house. Over communicate. We've joked, we're waiting for the 1-star review that says, Cupcake over communicated or texted me too many times. And when that happens, we're going to buy a big billboard on I-35 and let everybody go see it.
Wow.
Yeah, we culturize the looking for the wow moment. It's one of
Yeah.
our values, is to wow the customer, and everyone who comes in here and trains, all the way down to our canvassers. I remember a story of a dog getting out of a lady's home, and 2 of our canvassers, an older lady, went down the street and for 20 minutes corralled this dog. To the point of, I showed up at the house to do a sale for siding and windows, and the dog got out again. I'm running down the street for 20 minutes thinking to myself, I read the notes, we did this before, now it's happened to me, we're never going to close this. She bought windows, gutters, and the siding from us, and we're helping her get her roofing company to do a repair for her that was done incorrectly. So there's a lot of trust in that. and it's just hilarious.
You got to treat people the right way.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we like to say as part of our process is, look, we're doing surgery on the home. When we put a roof on or do windows or siding, we're going to open things up and things happen. We're going to break stuff, right? It's just, we're human. We try our best. We like to say it's not the bumps in the road, it's how you handle them. And so doing the right thing, especially if we've caused it, has been huge for our reputation. So it's, if you break an air conditioner or a flower pot or whatever it is, just
fiber line.
own up to it. Buy that light and make up for it. You've got a great story about the lights.
Yeah, so we were doing siding on a house, knocked on the door, the husband's home. I said, do you have Spectrum or fiber? He said, we got Spectrum. So we cut the fiber line. I leave. An hour later, the wife is calling me, upset, yelling. I let her finish. I said, I think that you've probably had contractors where when they've done something, you've really had to go to bat and you've really had a bad experience. This is going to be completely different than that. I'm on my way to fix it. We're going to pay for anything that needs to happen. And when I got there, I upgraded her 2 light fixtures for her. I said, you've got a budget, go pick them out. Go take, while you don't have internet, take your mother, take your husband, go down to the local store. I'm giving you this budget as a credit. Go pick out your favorite light fixtures. And she loved it. Completely turned around that moment into a wow moment, to the point that 3 months later, she called us back. Said, hey, I've got a referral and I want you to do my doors.
We want to be a differentiator. As a startup, it was really important to us. It was helpful to get our foot in the door. Qualified Remodeler did a study several years ago, and they found that something along the lines of 48% of homeowners wouldn't rehire the same contractor. That's used car salesperson level. That's terrible. We don't think homeowners should have to go take on that kind of risk. We don't need their cash to go front our jobs or anybody else's jobs. So we don't request a nickel until the job is done and they're 100% satisfied.
So not even on the start of the project? Everything?
No deposit whatsoever.
Yep.
The invoice happens after the final walkthrough has been done, where the customer walks around with our project manager and signs off on the punch list. The moment that happens, it's actually an automation in Job Nimbus. So the moment that happens, an invoice is created and then sent to the customer.
We also have a we break it, we buy it guarantee in writing. It's on all of our estimates and our scope of work. For roofing, for example, something we do that we think is a little bit of a differentiator is we have what's called a puncture-proof flat tire guarantee. There's thousands of nails that come off a roof. We're never going to get every nail. Not every homeowner mows their lawn to go help us pick up those nails. But for 30 days after our project, if you get a roofing nail in your tire, we will repair or replace your tire.
I mean, what would happen if you have a special order and you sign a contract and homeowner said, I want to cancel the job?
Yeah, I mean, in that case, they're still liable for at least the product, not the install, of course. To your original question about why do contractors do it, I think there's 3-4 main reasons. One is it's always been done that way, which are words that just absolutely make me cringe. That's a Steve Jobs, type deal. It's like, we've always done it this way. I think a lot of times they don't have the service or their trust in their own service to make sure that it's going to be good, and they're afraid that people aren't going to pay them because of that service.
Yeah, it holds us to a higher standard.
Yeah.
That and the name. You
Yep.
got to do a good job.
Yep.
Or you're not
And
gonna
then
pay.
then there's companies that run very, very lean, and so they're maybe not. Yeah, it's the cash flow. Cash flow is king, or their deposit hopping is that's the worst by far. Is there a little bit of a Ponzi scheme where they're taking your deposit to pay the last job off, and if that ever fall, the dominoes fall there. That's when they start asking for, more money up front.
Did you ever have people not pay you in full, or?
Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Yeah, we do certain things to prepare ourselves for that. Somebody does have to have proof of funds before we do the job, or they have to go through our financing. So we are. Proof of funds can be anything as easy as taking a look at their bank account or them sending us a bank statement, just so that we know that they have 2x the liquid funds to pay for the job. We do that for a couple reasons as well, not only to protect us, but we never want to take food off of somebody's table. So if it's a little old lady that has, $10,000 in her bank account and the roof's going to be $15,000, and we see that she's only got $10,000, we actually want to stop for a second and have a conversation with her about the decision she's about to make. I find it to be predatory to do anything opposite of that.
Well, you're so different from big companies Leaf Filter targets old people. Like it's their target audience. They go to expos. Their average, and the reason I know because I've exposed them in several videos, and I have at least 3 caregivers calling me trying to get out because they would sell $8,000 gutter covers to 88-year-old. And they're like, hey, Dimitri, I've watched your video, I 100% agree. Because those people, they're trusted. They don't know what it costs. I don't know how people can sleep at night when you're 80, 90 years old. The last thing you should be doing is buying, $10,000 gutter covers. Think about it. From your retirement, and you're talking about fixed incomes, you're talking about...
Yeah, we'll actually recommend when it's an older person to invite a family member into the conversation. We don't ever want to be, we want to be on the up and up. Yeah, so hey, come on in, let them vet this, make sure. Occasionally we lose a deal because...
You do?
Yeah.
Because they're skeptical, or they talk them over from doing the project?
Skeptical, they know somebody else.
Their inheritance.
They're inheriting the house, and so they're going to sell it anyway, and the strategy changes. Yeah. But we're okay doing that.
Last question, financing. Do you finance a lot of roofs, a lot of windows? When do you finance? Is financing a good deal? Because what if they don't have funds, but they can do financing? A lot of people have mixed feelings because financing comes with high interest rates.
Yeah, I think you're missing the boat if you're not financing. Everybody expects some type of financing. These are expensive projects. Not everybody wants to go outlay the cash. We're accustomed to paying for big ticket items on a monthly payment. So you need to be able to go offer those products to homeowners, 100%.
Yeah, I think it gives options. And how we buy is we want options. We definitely go into homes where our finance, somebody looks at the finance and goes, I'm just going to pay cash. I've got it. Or they look and say, I want to keep my cash, so I want to do the financing. We've got multiple different financing options that fit interest, people that don't want to pay a lot of interest or don't want to pay over a lot of time, or promos. So having those options opens the conversation, sets us apart, helps them get to where they want to go on the project.
Love it. Is customer always right?
The age-old question, is customer always right? That's probably a yes. It's probably a yes and a no.
It doesn't always feel great, but what we teach our team is we're always going to make it right. And sometimes we might even lose money on a job, but we're going to make it right. Because to the extreme ownership book that's over there, when we were on a call just the other day with our team, and something came up, and the homeowner said, well, I know I said this, and this was the expectation. Well, we didn't have it in any notes. We didn't have all the things, and we're going to find a way to make it right. And so, barring a few exceptions of maybe trying to get taken advantage of or something like that, that's an outlier. Yeah, they're always right.
You got to look inward to the extreme ownership point. We've got a saying we like to use. We call it going to a seminar. So those are our learning experiences. We all learn from our mistakes. And so the seminar is just like a fun way to go brand that expensive, painful learning lesson. And you got to go inward and go, yeah, we dropped the ball here, or we didn't button this up, or our communication wasn't right, or we didn't have that photograph. We need to go put this piece into our process to protect ourselves and to protect the homeowner, So you just kind of got to take it, in stride and say we went to a seminar. And that one, some seminars are more expensive than others.
What's the last time you lost money on a project?
It was October of last year. We did our first big siding job. We had a gentleman that was one of our sales reps that was using a install cost from about 10 years ago.
Where
So-
did he get that from?
He had been in the business a long time. He was a referral to us. We hired him. We were starting out. We thought, oh man, this guy's great. He knew windows and siding and roofing. And he bid this job, and we were like, yep, that feels right. And we took the crew out there, and they laughed at us because what we were going to charge for the job and the materials was about what their install rate was.
Wow. That's not including the finance costs on top of it,
Yep.
which we didn't bake into the overall bid.
So the young lady who was getting her siding done, she had multiple quotes. She goes, man, this is a great price, which should have been a red alert for us. And I still keep in touch with her. It was a great siding job. We did an amazing job on the home. She's super happy. It changed her whole life and outlook on her house that she loves. But at the very end, she actually asked me, she's like, did you guys lose money on this? And I said, we lost $11,500 on this.
Wow.
But we did it. We made it right.
We did it, made it
She's been
right.
a great referral for us, and so it's been a good story.
Yep.
Last question. Give advice to the homeowners who about to shop for contractors, going online, roofer near me, siding contractor near me.
Yeah. What we tell people is, look, if you don't work with Cupcake, we recommend you don't work with somebody that's going to require an upfront deposit. Don't think you should have to go take on that risk. We have a we break it, we buy it in writing. We've obviously got our insurance, of course. We have our puncture-proof flat tire guarantee. But we tell people, don't work with someone that's going to go make you sign something on the spot. That's always in the company's best interest. It's never in the homeowner's best interest to be pressured into making a decision right there. Do we love a contingency in insurance? Of course. But we're never pressuring someone, strong-arming them to go make a decision right then and there. I think we're totally fine with getting multiple quotes. We think that's a sound strategy. So those would be some of the things that I would say. And of course, obviously, look at the reviews and whatnot.
Right. I think asking not just about the product, but I try to educate homeowners on the install practices. Ask to be walked through the install. With windows, a lot of larger companies do a pocket fit versus a cutback, where we make the window bigger and actually load it in from the outside. That's a little thing that is such a huge thing to a homeowner, where you can get more glass. The caulk lines are smaller, so you don't have all this globbing of caulking because the window's actually fitting the hole versus inside of it. On a roof, it's understanding the ventilation. It's get a little bit more educated. You're about to spend $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. The person who's trying to get real chummy with you and have you sign today because they're giving you such a great price and dropping it, should be the red flag. Versus somebody who's educating you and actually walking you through questions that you have not even answered or asked. My last thing for homeowners is ask the question, what question am I going to ask after the install that I should be asking today?
Number one, what do you think about their name, Cupcake? Just your honest feedback. Number two, would you hire them? I'm personally sold. I would hire them for my house. And number three, where are you at on down payments? Would you run a business without taking any down payments? I know it's very controversial in construction world, but would you consider it? Comment below. I read all of my comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.